What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. CFCDP here with yet another video. We are coming to you live after Chelsea drew 1-1 against Inter Milan in their last preseason friendly. There's a lot to cover. There's a lot to think about after this preseason. There's been some winners. There's been some losers from a player side. There's also been some tactics that have evolved more than others and things that you will see throughout the course of the season. Before we get into that, I want to remind you about Simon Phillips' Substack page, Cy Phillips Talks Chelsea. Go ahead, find the link in the description below, and you can find all this amazing content. Simon's community is centered around his content, so there is transfer news. There's a live aggregated blog of everything happening in the news of Chelsea today. And then there is even more stuff that we're bringing to the table now that the season has started. There's going to be match analysis, match reviews. There's going to be live watch-alongs on my YouTube channel at CFCDP. And there's a bunch of other content. So for every Chelsea fan, there is something for you. Go ahead to that link in the description below and get signed up now to start receiving that content. Super easy. You can receive it right into your email inbox every morning with a full list of things that you guys can go ahead and get checked out on. So please go ahead, read into that, and subscribe today. Now, moving on to the preseason, this last match, 1-1, Chelsea, this was kind of like the final performance before the real show starts against Man City in a week's time. What have we seen throughout the preseason? We've seen Chelsea's tactics start to take shape. What Enzo Maresca likes to do. Specifically, we're talking about a couple of things. We're talking about inverting the fullback. We've seen that. We're talking about counter pressing and winning the ball with high regains in their own attacking third. They've done that. Chelsea have looked so good at pressing immediately after losing the ball, winning the ball back, and getting into more opportune opportunities. But we also have not seen necessarily the directness in the possession style buildup. Now, this system relies a lot on understanding space and getting your playmakers in positions where your finishers can get into the box. That is playing through balls to wingers cutting into the box. That's interchanging with the main striker. There's taking shots from outside the box. And that's something that we haven't seen really a lot at this point. Where does that come and how does that come in? It's time on task. It's understanding where you need to be, understanding where your teammates are going to be, how are they going to look at what the opposition is set up as, and where are some spaces that they can exploit. We have seen that a little bit incrementally in each match. I think this last finale, we saw a lot of it, but it probably still wasn't enough. Only a few shots on target, not too many shots, and some very poor, low percentage shots. But we are starting to see some of those things come into fruition. So where do we go from here and how do we get better from it? Chelsea need to learn this system and it needs to become second nature. When you have a bunch of, senior players like at Leicester City with Enzo Maresca last year, guys that have played in a similar system and guys that can kind of understand over the course of the year of how to play, you can see the fruits of that labor. There's goals, there's, strong defending, there's a lot of things. But I think what we need to do is take a little step back and understand that a lot of these guys, this is their third system in 3 years with the different coaches and managers that have been interchanging at Chelsea. So to unlearn some habits and to relearn some habits is going to take some time, and I think that Chelsea will do that. Defensively, I think it's been much better this past match and against Real Madrid. It's been much better. Enzo Maresca has made some tweaks to how he is deciding to do things, and I think that's allowed Chelsea to be a little bit more sturdy at the back, which you're going to need to do. You can't concede as many goals as we did in the early part of preseason, and I think Chelsea have somewhat addressed that. Moving on to players, winners and losers. One of the biggest winners for me is Enzo Fernandez. Only been in about, 3 matches so far this preseason, but I think you've really started to see him own that box-to-box role, moving in build-up phase, becoming one of the main creators in the attacking phase, and sort of hovering outside the penalty box, waiting to utilize his passing range for runners and link-ups with the striker and whatnot. So we've seen a lot of positives from Enzo Fernandez. Another winner is Marc Guiu. I think Marc Guiu has a very, very good chance to start next week against Manchester City. Nicholas Jackson got about 40 minutes coming off of a pretty serious ankle injury. So I would probably say that Mark Guiu will start against Manchester City. I think his work ethic, his ability to kind of get into, opportunities for maybe deflected goals or greasy goals and whatnot has really shown himself well. What happens with the rest of the striker market throughout the rest of the window when you start about Victor Osimhen or Samu coming in, that's a whole nother story. But I think Mark Guiu is poised to start week 1 against Manchester City. Another winner that I have is Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. I think Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, especially in that Club America game, got into a lot of really good areas. I think he will start as well in those first games. Dewsbury-Hall necessarily hasn't shown like the GA output in the preseason that we would like, but his ability to pop up in advantageous situations has been very, very good. And my biggest winner of the preseason is Romeo Lavia. Romeo Lavia has looked so good in every single time he's gone out on the field. His passing range, his defensive work, his ability to play intricate passes in the build-up has been extremely impressive. You're starting to see why that £60 million price tag has really, he's already proved his worth in the preseason. We'd like to see it furthermore in the regular season. I think he will start against Manchester City as well. Some clear losers. There's a few of them. I think the entire winger department is a loser at this point. Maybe not them personally, but as the players in the system they are. Madueke has done fairly well with GA output, but I think that his involvements, are not prototypically what you would like to see in a Maresca-style system. You'd like to see him get more runs to the touchline, get more assists. Cole Palmer comes in, and Cole Palmer is playing that right wing position today. So does Cole Palmer start there? How does that work? Cole's obviously going to start, but where does he fit in? And I think it is at that right wing position. On the left-hand side, Mudryk, Sterling, I haven't seen enough from them. Sterling has looked better than Mudryk, but that's not saying too much. Mudryk has been very poor. Did look a little better today against Inter Milan. There was some good opportunities for him, but never really anything that's too clear-cut. Pedro Neto is signed. He's coming in. He was announced at the bridge today. I think that as soon as Pedro Neto is built into the squad, integrated, got his fitness up, I think he will get a very, very strong crack at that left wing, especially to start. And unfortunately, and I hate to say this, my biggest loser of the preseason thus far is Carney Chukwuemeka. Carney played the first 2 games, has not played the rest of the matches going forward. Pedro Neto has been brought in. Now we are starting to see a bit of overlap in that attacking midfielder winger position, and now you are seeing names that are being floated to be sold, from Noni to Sterling to Carney, even some slight murmurs. What's going to happen? Is this Carney deal going to end? Is he going to get a bid in? I don't think that Chelsea will have any problem in getting their money back from what they paid for him. But I am concerned about the future of Carney Chukwuemeka. I don't know how long he is going to, be with this squad, especially if he's not playing at all, especially in the preseason. Okay, so we're here. The season is going to start a week from today. Chelsea are going against Manchester City. We're hoping to see a little bit more of output from Enzo Maresca's side in terms of possession-based opportunities. But if the pressing is there, if the defense is there, I think Chelsea have a very good opportunity to hit the ground running early on. So, as always, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this community. If you want to go ahead and like, subscribe, comment to the video, let me know guys what you think about the preseason thus far and what you think about Man City coming up. That would be fantastic. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at CFCDP1. We will have a live watch-along for the Man City match next week, as always, so stay tuned to your social feeds to see that tweet go out. Or if you go ahead and click on the notification bell, you can get a alert when I go live, so you guys can come in, join on in, and get in with this awesome community that we're building here at CFCDP. So I want to thank you all for your support, and have a good rest of your night.